Hello and welcome to LFC Focus. Liverpool are in Premier League action this midweek as they take on Middlesbrough on Wednesday night at the Riverside. So last time out, Liverpool drew to West Ham 2-2 at Anfield, and while the reactions weren't as end of the world kind of horrified as they were for the Bournemouth game, it's safe to say that Liverpool fans and Liverpool players alike were not happy with the performance at all. This time, because it was less of a horror show than the Bournemouth game, it was a bit more difficult for fans and pundits to place the blame on any particular player. But as we all know, it fell once again on Loris Karius. For me, Loris Karius didn't have a massively bad game. I mean, the main reason that people complain about his attempt to save the Payet free kick, I think, is because he gets a hand to it. And once a goalkeeper gets a hand to it, you start to ask the question of why he didn't get a stronger hand to it and push it away rather than just palming it into the side netting. With the second goal, there's not really much he can do. Antonio is at the end of the day a good player and a good finisher, and there's not much blame to be placed on Joel Matip either, because there's a big deflection on the ball. He totally misjudges it because he doesn't expect the ball to fly like that, and he loses his footing. It's one of the things that happens, and what's important is that he picks himself up, doesn't let this mistake ruin his confidence. Loris Karius doesn't let that game ruin his confidence either, and they both come out against Middlesbrough and put in solid performances for the Reds. So with the result against West Ham, I'm going to come out and say that this game against Middlesbrough is now the biggest game of our season so far. It's incredibly important that Liverpool get a result now and they get 3 points to show that they are going to last this title race through to the end. Because we're in danger of doing what Man U did under Van Gaal last season, where they were around the second and third position. They took first position for 1 week, and then it got to December and they fell away massively and lost 4 games in a row at one point. While this was hilarious and fun as a Liverpool fan to watch, we don't want to give Man U fans the pleasure of seeing the exact same thing happen to us this year. Now, I think this is a particularly big game for the attackers in our ranks, because Middlesbrough have only conceded 16 goals this season. That's 4 less than Liverpool, and the fact that they've scored only 13 goals this season means that they shouldn't be a massive problem for our defence. And I think if you are going to place the blame on any part of the team against West Ham, it'd have to be on the attack, because we had pretty much the whole second half to find a winner, and Liverpool were playing too many short passes, taking way too many touches in the box without actually taking any shots, and trying to find that eye of the needle pass that really only Felipe Coutinho can do out of all the players in our squad. And when you add to that the fact that if we are going to use crossing as a plan B, as we tried to do against West Ham, then the players need to get better at it, because far too many of the crosses were slow, high and looping, and they gave Darren Randolph plenty of opportunity to actually catch the ball. I lost count of the amount of times that Liverpool had corners, we thought we might get a chance, and it went straight into the hands of Darren Randolph. So while this section has lost a bit of credence given the last 2 results, I'm going to go on with it anyway. Here's 3 reasons why we will beat Middlesbrough. First of all, like I said, this is our biggest game of the season so far, and it is a real chance for the players to stand up and be counted. And especially without Felipe Coutinho, this is a way of setting down a marker and saying that we are here to stay in the title race. If Liverpool don't win now, then people will start counting us out completely. If they do, then it will show that they've got resilience and they've got character to bounce back from results, and I back Liverpool to get the win on Wednesday night. Second of all is Roberto Firmino. Like a lot of Liverpool players, he hasn't had a particularly good game since the Watford game. Obviously, you can say that the loss of Felipe Coutinho, his compatriot friend, and probably the best player on the pitch for him in terms of chemistry and playing style, is missing from the squad at the moment, and also he's playing out on the left wing. But he proved against Leicester, when he played on the left wing with Sturridge in the centre, that he can play in that style. So what's important now is he shows that he can do so consistently, and we can rely on him as a backup in that position should Coutinho get injured again. And lastly, I think being away from home could help Liverpool here, because the atmosphere against West Ham wasn't particularly great. A lot of fans looked grumpy, they were folding their arms, they were mumbling, they were moaning, they weren't enjoying the game, and they just weren't getting behind the team. And perhaps being away from the pressure that the Anfield atmosphere could bring when results aren't going your way could help Liverpool to pick themselves up off the floor and get 3 points ready to go back to Anfield in front of a much more expectant and much happier crowd. And like I said on Friday, I'm going to start giving a reason that, despite my optimism, the other team could beat us. And I think with Middlesbrough, it is their defensive record. You know, teams recently have been parking the bus against us, like Sunderland and Southampton did it with different levels of effectiveness, and I think Middlesbrough will probably look to do something similar against us, and it's down to Liverpool to show that they're good enough to break down a defensive barrier and get the goals that they need for 3 points. So that's all for today's video. Here's hoping that the Reds can get back to winning ways on Wednesday night. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel and follow @LFC Focus TV on Twitter. Bye for now.